Hey guys, Zul'jin here, and welcome back to another episode of Gwent. Today we're going to be covering some patch notes and some upcoming changes that were just released by CD Projekt Red. I went over and watched the stream on the CD Projekt Red Twitch website, and there are a ton of changes, like so many. Some good, some bad. You gotta love some and you gotta hate some, but you gotta deal with all of them if you're going to play. So I'm gonna try to do this in real time. I think I got this set up to where I could discuss everything. So like I said, they just announced the patch, and the biggest changes are going to be talking about a leveling system, leaderboards, and ranked play. So ranked is going to be pretty good. Like there's going to be ELO and stuff like that. It's going to be really, really cool. I don't know if they would call it ELO, but it's like a ranked rating and stuff like that. And you'll get rewards based on what ranks you achieve and stuff like that. And I guess the matchmaking system is going to come into that. They didn't talk too much about that, but they are on the way, and they showed some screenshots of some of it, and it was pretty cool. I don't have any assets to show you right now, but I will link the Twitch, the actual stream recap once it's up on YouTube. So next is some of the actual card changes. So they are adding new cards as well as changing a bunch of the current cards. So right now, Clear Skies has been broken for a little while. Not broken, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, right? It clears weather, but two things Clear Skies is bad for it right now, and hardly anybody plays with it in their deck. One, Clear Skies just eliminates weather, and weather still cancels out all of the buffed effects on any non-gold units. So if you are playing Northern Realms or whatever, and you get your Trebuchets up to 20, 30, 40, 50 power or whatever, and they play one weather, it nullifies all of it. If you play Clear Skies, it's just reset to its base strength. So and it does nothing else. Like, it doesn't have an alternate use. So Clear Skies is actually going to get an alternate effect called Rally. And this is going to be really, really cool because it's a neutral card. So Northern Realms has a really, really cool ability to summon other units with different cards that they have in their faction. And Rally is basically, and so does some of the other things, like Scoia'tael can summon other cards, not necessarily units, but summon other cards. Well, Rally is a neutral card, or a neutral ability attached to this, and a few other cards as well. Like Dagon is getting the Rally ability as well, or Dagon, from the Monsters faction. And it basically allows you to summon a random bronze unit from your deck, which is an awesome ability. I'm really excited about that. That is going to open up the possibilities for a billion different types of decks. So really, really excited about that change. Gerald Agni has changed. He has the same exact ability, but he's only going to make the same effect if the row strength is 20 or higher. So Geralt Agni used to be at 15. Let me find him for you here. Neutral. And Geralt Agni. So currently, Geralt Agni is right here. 15 strength or more, and he will be 20 strength or more. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, is the same on everything else. Some of the changes in the patch notes are incorrect. They listed one specific change that they didn't think was right on Dandelion, but we'll get to that soon. Stammelford's Tremors, which is, let's go to Stammelford's right quick. Stammelford's Tremors right now removes 2 strength from all opposing non-go units. It is changing to all the units on the battlefield, meaning when you use Stammelford's Tremors, your units will be hit too, which changes a lot of stuff. Now, before you go and thinking, well, that sucks, that nobody's going to use it, they have decks that run wounding, like Herald the Cripple and stuff. You know, that and Warcry and stuff that Stammelford's Tremors is very, very, very. Right now, Warcry only has one use, so Stammelford's is going to bring a whole bunch of stuff to that. And I think Warcry may be changed too. Myrgtabrakke, which is, let's see here if I can find. I don't have the actual card, but I think that's how you say it, Myrgtabrakke. Myrgtabrakke? I don't know. But right now, remove 2 strength from one non-gold unit, 1 from another, and 1 from a third. Now at 4 strength, so it's not 5 anymore, it's 4 strength, and it removes 4 strength, then 3, then 2, then 1 from non-gold units. You can target the same unit more than once. I don't see this card played often, but I do see it played. And I always thought it was not weak sauce, but like it wasn't all that. Like I didn't see a lot of the silver neutral cards like that are staples that everybody plays with. You know, and this just wasn't one of them. Like I wouldn't see playing with this. But I mean, there are some uses for it, but especially in heavy removal decks, it's just another creature that you can use for removal. But I don't think it's powerful enough to synergize that well with a removal deck when you wouldn't play with something else. So silver cards are very important. So all right, let's see here. Close preview. All right, Octavus now takes 4 turns to activate its effect. It used to be 5, so the strength is just the same. After 5 turns, I'm just going to scroll over them instead of go to the specific card mostly because there's a lot of change notes. This is going to be a long video probably. 5 turns, remove the strength from all opposing non-gold units and return this unit to your hand. And it's going to take 4 turns to activate its effect now. So play on a random row from your deck. This is Roach. So right now, Roach is a pretty good card. It's used in a lot of decks. Right now, it's a 3 strength card that comes out on a random row anytime a gold card is played. Whether it's in the graveyard or in your hand or in the deck, it just comes out. And right now, it's going to change. Play it on a random row in your deck or graveyard whenever a gold card appears on your side. So it's a little bit different. You won't summon Roach on the opponent's side if you play a gold card, which is pretty darn good because there was some decks that were promoting Roach really hard, and if you knew they were playing Roach and it went to the graveyard, you wouldn't want to bring Roach out. You know, if you did your job and kind of mitigated their hand to where they played all their golds, it would kind of prevent you from playing their gold because you wouldn't want Roach to come out. So yeah. Anyway, Ciri, same exact card except now has 6 strength. Now, Ciri's main ability is the same thing. I don't think this is too huge of a nerf, but there are a lot of things that it is not going to undo in one card. So I really think it's significant, but Ciri's ability is still there. A lot of people just use Ciri and pass, and that's cool. It's like a good thing to get card advantage, but another reason is most of the time when people use Ciri and pass, they're using it because they know that they have to play a really high power card to counter that. And now that Ciri is going to be 6 power, just think if Northern Realms, for instance, wants to play a Thaler and just get a little bit of card advantage and tie up. You know, that right there is strong, man. So 6 power is going to be a significant difference for Ciri, even though her main ability is still there. So promote. This is an enormous change. Promote units will now lose their golden status at the start of the next turn and return to their base strength when entering a graveyard and or in the next round. So that's pretty huge, man. That is pretty huge. When you think of base strength, you think of things like the Skellige card that buffs base strength, the Clan Tordrock Shieldsmiths. You also think of, you know, when certain units promote, it changes their base strength. So I think their base strength is going to go back to what it was originally. It doesn't say original strength. So if something did buff its base strength, I believe you're going to be able to see it like that now. But it's hard to know for sure. Let's see. Let's go back to all factions. Okay. So promote units now lose their golden status at the end of the turn. And that's huge. So that's going to affect Hinselt. That is going to affect promote decks. That is going to affect regular gold cards too. Gold actually go back. It's a general rule. Gold are going to drop their gold status and go to silver. They're still not going to be bronze, but they're going to go back. They're going to lose their gold status when they hit the graveyard, which means some cool things. You'll be able to resurrect some of them or bring them back into play from the graveyard. You'll be able to steal them from other people's graveyards, things like that. So there is going to be some profound stuff coming along with that. All right, Redenian Elite now has 6 strength, and converted units lose their converted status when destroyed when the round ends. So that's pretty significant. Reinforced trebuchets require 3 turns, but remove 2 strength. So reinforced trebuchets, they still remove the 2 strength that they did. They still remove, instead of they changed it in the last patch. Let's take a look at it because I think it's worth it. So reinforced trebuchets currently are 5 power, and every 2 turns they remove 1 strength. Well, they had nerfed them. At first it was every turn they remove 2 strength. No, every 2 turns they remove 2 strength, and they would also buff each other. So now they require 3 turns but still remove 2 strength. So little bit of, I'm not really sure what the change is, but I know like nobody would play reinforced trebuchets anymore. So as soon as they made the change, they just got nerfed to heck. So Dandelion, oh man, Dandelion has strength and adds 2 strength, has 4 strength, and adds 2 strength to every non-gold unit on the melee row, opponent's units included. It's not the melee row. That is incorrect. It's actually on any row. So, and that's and I did see it working on gold units in the stream. So I'm not really sure on that, but because they were buffing gold units. But I think based on this, I know it's not the melee row. I know it's every row. But basically, Dandelion was just used to summon a Commander's Horn. So now you'll have players that are putting Dandelion down early, and every card that you play on both sides is going to get that strength buff. So that's significant. A lot of what I think this is driven for was, first of all, Dandelion was used as a last resort. He was also a way to resurrect Commander's Horns, and you can do that multiple times with different ways, and people were getting absurd numbers in power. Another thing is they're trying to get rid of these final blows. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nice to be able to have a power card that you play at the last minute, but Dandelion was one of these cards that was only played, so you just held Dandelion forever. And it's just a little bit more difficult. They also changed Madman Lugo, which we'll get into, but it was for the same reason, because there's nothing you can do about it. And they want you to be able to change stuff like that. So anyway, so Radovic now removes 8 strength instead of 10. They talked about this a little bit because Radovic pretty much destroys everything on the board in one fell swoop except Geralt. And there's a couple of other gold cards, but that was just too powerful as what they thought. And I've always thought Radovic was very, very powerful too. In comparison to some of the other leaders of the factions, currently Henselt is, I think, the guy to have in a Northern Realms deck because the gold synergy is wicked. Henselt Margarita decks are unbelievably powerful. But if you take that and you decide, well, I'm just going to play Radovic because the only card that can screw me over is this specific card, you could destroy it. This specific unit, you could destroy it. And that I think, in my opinion, is a little bit too powerful. So let's see here. So Philippa now has 10 strength. Exact same card. Philippa used to have 6, I think. And then she got bumped to 12. And then they realized that was a little bit too powerful, so they bumped to 10. She still doesn't affect gold units as far as I know. But yeah, she's definitely strong. Priscilla now has 2 strength, so she will not be countered by 1 Savage Bear. That was, in my opinion, when they changed Savage Bears, I'm like, that breaks a lot. That just gave Skellige like a ton of power. Not that Skellige didn't need it, but Skellige was already a very, very powerful faction, very formidable faction. And every time, personally, when I play Scoia'tael a lot lately, and every time I saw a Savage Bears unit, I was like, well, forfeit. Not forfeit, but it was going to be very, very hard. I knew I had to play my 1-cost cards out. And Priscilla's a legendary, I think. Is Priscilla legendary? No, she is not. I don't know why. Well, she used to be stupid powerful. She's still pretty powerful. But now, the last thing you'd want is not to be able to use Priscilla. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Audra now has 4 strength. He was at 5. Now he's not at 4. It's not a big nerf to Audra, but in the same breath, Audra wasn't incredibly strong either. You have to have him on the board for a little while for him to do some significant stuff. But he did do some stuff. I've seen Audra do a lot. Like, if you can't get rid of him, and you're gonna try to endure a round, he is going to do a lot of points, especially with decks like in Northern Realms that summon a lot of stuff, especially with this new rally ability that they're gonna have. Can you imagine? It's gonna be crazy, man. Alright, Dunbanner Cavalry now has 5 strength. Dunbanner Cavalry is currently at... Is it at 7? Yeah, so... I don't know why they made this change. I mean, it's a good card, but that was their strongest... Well, that wasn't their strongest unit. Redenian Knights, I guess, were... Yeah, I guess that's what they were. Redenian Knights were 8. So I guess the 7s and the 8s were just too much. Like, they wanted a little change in the faction. If they're 5 strength, Dunbanner Cavalry. Oh wait, this is Dunbanner Light Cavalry. Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry is something different. Where? Hold on. I'm missing something here. Redenian Knights. Why am I not seeing Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry? Unless they wrote it wrong, or they're changing it. But why would you use Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry or Light Cavalry at 5 strength when you have Cadwini Sergeants at 6 with with the ability to kill gold units? I don't know. I really don't know. That might be an oversight there. Reinforced Ballista now has 6 strength, which is currently, let's see, Reinforced Ballista is currently at 4 strength, so that will be 6 strength. Prince Stennis has 8, which Prince was like, what, at 9 or 11? No, he's at 7. So his ability is a little bit stronger, I guess, than they thought. So he's going to give you a bigger debuff for playing it. You know, they're gonna have more strength. It's a disloyal unit. So when you put it on their side, they're gonna have more strength. Trebuchet has 4 strength now, and that's the regular Trebuchets, which are these. No, that's reinforced. Regular Trebuchets. That's Reinforced Ballista. I know what I'm looking for here. I just don't see it. That's the problem with doing this live. Why can I not see it? Trebuchets. We had it's the one that hits 2 units at a time, though. So I have them in a deck, actually. Why can I not see it? I had them in a Radovic deck that I was working on. Oh no, I got rid of it. I got rid of the deck. So I have no idea why I'm not seeing it. I'm probably just overlooking it. Oh, here they are. Trebuchets. Dang, I'm sorry about that, y'all. So, Trebuchet has 4 strength now. So, they're a little bit stronger. And right now, they just removed 2 strength from 2 opposing non-go units. Alright. Aizen Grim, which was, I guess we're in Scoia'tael now. Let's go to Scoia'tael. So, Aizen Grim, which I do not have, currently removes all special cards in your graveyard from the game and spawns 1 command neophyte units on random rows for each. This was a last card. This was, you play this after you've played out your entire deck. This was your last card that you played, and you summoned a ton of Commander Neophytes when you use a lot of special cards. This is one many a game for opponents against me. Like, I see this often. It's a very strong card. So now it creates 2 Commando Neophyte units in random rows each time you play a special card. So the object is to get him on board first. and then they have to deal with them. So you'll have something that you can actually counter and do things against. So pretty significant change right there. Makam Guard now has 5 strength and is immune to frost. That is so strong. And this is Makam... Wait, I was thinking that was Defenders. Makam Guards, or... Aren't they the guys that buff the other dwarves? Where are the guys that buff the other dwarves? Yes, Makam Guards. So they are 3 strength right now. So they'll be adding 5 strength. 1 non-gold unit on your side. So it doesn't buff just the dwarf, it buffs any unit. And because they're immune to frost now, that's going to be really, really good. Alright, Makam Defender now has 4 strength. That's these guys. So they're going to be a little bit stronger, which means if you have it out, it will not just get killed by with a Lacerate. And that's pretty huge because Lacerate, if I had to say which was the most common removal card of any deck, I think it would be Lacerate. It's strong. It's strong. Lacerate takes care of a lot of stuff. Alright, so Riot Brigade has 8 strength, and they were currently at 7, so they buffed them up a little bit. Then we have the Riot Vanguard, which have 6 strength now. They used to be at 4 strength, so they're going to be a little bit stronger. I'm not too sure what Elven War Dancer is. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm really not sure. Eglaze, that might be like, I don't know what that is. Eglaze is currently like one of the most powerful cards in Scorch. She's unbelievably strong. And she was at 7 strength, so now she has 5 strength, which is a pretty significant nerf. Hawker Healer now has 2 strength. That's another card that I could not actually play with against the Bears deck, a Savage Bears deck. Like, they just would get shot down immediately. So pretty interesting stuff there. The Hawker Support has 3 strength now. So the Hawker Supports were... Well, I was thinking of Elven Mercenary earlier. These are Elven Mercenaries. The Hawker Supports are not the Blue Mountain Commandos. These guys here, the Hawker Supports. So they're currently 2 strength, so they're going to be 3, which is kind of nice. Dwarven Mercenary has 3 strength now. The Mercenaries are... Who are the Mercenaries? Dwarven Mercenaries. That's the Makam Guard. That's the Skirmishers. I'm not too sure which ones the Mercenaries are. Maybe I'm just overlooking. These guys right here. So instead of being 2 strength, they're 3 strength. I haven't played with dwarves that much. Alright, so Dagon, which is the guy that spawns any kind of weather. We'll move to monsters now. Dagon currently spawns either Biting Frost, Impenetrable Fog, or Torrential Rain. He was added, he got First Light. So he has a 4th option now. He can play First Light. And First Light is the new Clear Skies, which means he'll be able to clear weather, and he'll be able to, or he'll be able to rally. So in addition to the Biting Frost, the Impenetrable Fog, and the Torrential Rain, he can Clear Skies or rally. So that's going to be one of 5 abilities. That's pretty darn versatile. If you're not playing with weather, that means Dagon is going to be able to like rally all the time. It's going to be a free rally card. If you're playing against weather, and things like the Foglets come out, you can Clear Skies if you don't have any removal. You know. Another thing is, right now when you see Dagon, you know you play in weather. There's no mystery left to it. So it's not like just playing the Monsters faction and knowing that it's possible that they use weather. Dagon is a telltale sign that there will be one weather card played somewhere in the game. So it could change the entire way you doing things. So that's huge right there. All right, Drowners. This is a remarkable change as well. Drowners right now are 7 power and nothing else. Which I always thought was funny because Drowners were like some of the first things you fought in The Witcher 3. And I thought they would be pretty significant, and they weren't. I mean, 7 power is nothing to sneeze at, but they were just a ranged unit, you know. They were just a siege unit. They were the same thing as Brand Warriors, except it was just another one. Nobody used them in their decks for anything. So now Drowners have 5 strength and the ability pick and move an opponent's card to the siege row, and they're immune to rain. So you can pick an opponent's card and move it to the siege row. So you play Rain with a Water Hag, right? And they just buffed up their, I don't know, they just buffed up their Blue Mountain Commando or whatever to 16 strength. And you say, hey, I'm targeting that card and you're moving it to Rain. Now all of a sudden they get wiped. You know, or you may want to use a Geralt Agni or something of that nature. Or you just want to group enemies so that you want to use a Lacerate and get rid of that one pesky unit on another row. So many uses to do that, you know. It's just, it's an incredible change. That's going to bring a lot of complexity to the game, y'all. A ton of complexity. Grave Hag now has 2 strength and only activates after 2 rounds. That's another thing, like I had said with Madman Lugo, which I'm going to go over as well. When you place down Grave Hag right now, she just eats everything in the graveyard, and that's usually the last card that anybody plays. You can't do anything about it. If you don't have card advantage, you can't Scorch her, you can't Frost her, you can't do anything to her. Now, you have to wait 2 turns, so when you bring out Grave Hag, she'll just be at 2 strength. You'll have time to get rid of her before she gets enormous, so really significant right there. Nithral has 6 strength. So Nithral is the guy that summons, that does damage and is immune to frost based on when Wild Hunt comes in. So he's 7 right now. He's going to have 6 strength, but right now he only removes 1 strength. He's going to go into removing 2 strength, which is pretty darn crazy. Wild Hunt Warriors now have 5 strength, which that is the guys that have 4 that do 1, I believe. Wild Hunt Warriors, yes, these guys right here. So that's pretty significant. And they gain 2 strength if they're destroyed, so they're going to be a good bit stronger, 2 points stronger. Herald the Cripple, let's get into Skellige. This faction was hit pretty hard as well. Herald the Cripple currently removes 4 strength from all weakened opposing non-gold units. Now they remove 3 strength from all weakened opposing units and 2 strength from non-weakened opposing units. Wow. Can you say Breed Deck Destroyer? That's incredible, man. That is crazy. So yeah, that's gonna do a lot. A lot. So, and it's only opposing units, so it's not catastrophic to your side or anything. It's a leader ability. It shouldn't be anyway. Alright. Drag Bondu now adds 1 strength to all non-gold units in your graveyard. That is this guy right here. He adds 1 strength to all non-gold units in your graveyard. 1 base strength, though. So it's not just 2 regular strength, it's actually base strength. That means they just get buffed. This is basically like the Skellige ability that you have that passes every round. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't list this as a change in these notes that I have here, but when I saw him on stream, he was power 4. So yeah, he's a little bit stronger now, I believe, to make up for that. Now Clan Demon Pirates have 3 strength. So this was like one of the lead plays for every single game I ever saw that people use discard decks. Well, let me find them. Why can't I find them? Pirates. Yes, these guys. Clan Demon Pirates. So they have 3 strength instead of 1 strength right now. So you can still get rid of, you still have to use something like a Lacerate to get rid of them if you would normally not hold that. But yeah, this is a strong card too. So they have 3 strength now, so they're a little bit stronger, but they usually get targeted pretty quickly. Alright, Warlong ships now have 5 strength. So this was pretty incredible too. When you play Lacerate on a back row on turn 1, on round 1, it was pretty devastating because you can knock out their Warlong ships, you can knock out all of their anybody that they used for res, it was pretty catastrophic. And now they're a little bit more resilient to that, which is pretty good because it's a huge staple in discard decks. Almost every discard deck I've ever seen uses that. So at least when they're using discard as a synergy like that. Okay, Siegfrieda now has 1 strength. Siegfried, this is probably one of the most powerful cards in Skellige, like by far. Now there was some more changes that were made to Resurrection. Now Siegfrieda, along with a few of the other units in that have to do with resurrecting and stuff like that, had a medic tag that was added to them the most recent patch that happened, and basically that was to stop chain resing. Well, now they're going to have something called Permadeath, and Permadeath is basically serves the same purpose, but it's adding to other units as well. So what it's designed to do is, if a unit has Permadeath, it doesn't get removed from the game, because there is an ability called Fleeting that actually removes something from the game. The Operator, for instance, is Fleeting and has Permadeath. I think has both. Well, anyway, you can't res it, you can't bring it back. There's nothing you can do. You can't. Oh, Fleeting is you can't bounce it. Okay, because it's gone from the game as well. So Permadeath means that you can't res it through normal means. You have to res it through something that can res with Permadeath. Siegfrieda will be able to res Permadeath units, for instance, but medics won't. The normal medics won't. So, or the, what do you call these gals that everybody loves from Skellige? The priestesses, yes, Priestess of Freya. So they still won't be able to res her. Anyway, let's move on. Savage Bears now have 3 strength, which this was, I saw this coming, like, what can I say? They nerfed Trebuchet, but they didn't nerf Savage Bears. In fact, they made Savage Bears more powerful last time the patch came through because of the order the damage was done in priority, and they were just ridiculously strong. So now at least they're a little bit easier to get rid of. They're still going to grow in strength every time you bring them out, but these guys with 7 strength in round 3. So I mean, you couldn't even Thunderbolt them anymore. They were just they were way too strong as it is. So I think they needed. I hate swinging the nerf. I hate when they swing the nerf bat on stuff. But this was really an unbalanced card, I do believe. And I like all the factions. So Light Longship now has a flame icon. Okay, which is Light Longships. Oh no, that's War Longships. Light Longships, or is it these guys that have? Yeah, Light Longships have a flame icon. I thought they did have a flame icon already. I don't know. Okay, so miscellaneous changes. I think that's all the card changes that were covered. Miscellaneous changes, or units that have Adrenaline Rush, won't be taken into consideration anymore when it comes to monsters' faction ability. The most aggravating thing in the world in monsters was if you were trying to keep a specific unit, so you have Adrenaline Rushes in your deck, so you want to keep a specific unit, and it actually considers that unit when it goes to decide that. So you just didn't lose Adrenaline Rush and the thing would stay on. You wouldn't keep any other cards. So Adrenaline Rush was almost pointless in a lot of monster decks, and that's changed. Here's the new card category, Fleeting. Cards that have Fleeting tag will no longer enter the graveyard and instead completely disappear from the game. Some, but not all cards, will have this tag, like Commander's Horn, Nature's Gift, and Operator. So that's pretty big. Let's talk about that. No longer enter the graveyard, instead completely disappear from the game. Again, you won't be able to do anything to these cards once they are eliminated. That means they'll stay on the board. You know, you don't play them and they just evaporate. Once you play them, that's it. You can't do anything to them. If you try, you can't res it. So Eglace will not be able to use to resurrect Commander's Horn. Will not be able to resurrect Nature's Gift. I like the thing about Nature's Gift because it's kind of null. You know, the only purpose that it served to use Eglace on a Nature's Gift was to get double specials, meaning that if you had like the Hawker supports on board and you wanted them to get the buff twice for specials, then you would use Eglace onto that, and then on the card that you ultimately, well, the last special that was played. So you have to kind of line it up, but it did do some stuff. Operator was huge. What people were doing with Operator, I don't know if you've looked around for the, I've been searching for the sound effect on Operator because I wanted to use it on my streams for when somebody subscribes, when he says welcome chosen one. So what people would do is they would basically get Operator back in their hands through killing it and resurrecting it, or they would use decoy on it, or they would use Johnny on it. All of these things to duplicate Operator, and it's very hard to use Johnny on it, but that's besides the point. What I'm saying is they would duplicate Operator so they can duplicate a card multiple times, and people would do these things with things like Dandelion, for instance. So what happens was Dandelion was being used over and over and over, and rezzed and used and rezzed and used, and bottom line is what would happen is somebody would use 6 or 7 Commander's Horns in one game, and the points were in like the thousands. I saw like some people had lines of like 60,000 strength, you know, like on one row. It was ridiculous. So anyway, you can't do that anymore. Relentless. Cards that have Relentless tag can't be picked from the battlefield. Some, but not all cards will have this tag, like Operator and Johnny. So Operator is both Relentless and Fleeting. Johnny, you can't do what you used to do with Johnny. So you can't take Johnny back into your hand with I cannot think of the name of it. You can't take Johnny back in your hand with I always want to say boomerang because that's what I used to do in Magic the Gathering, but it's decoy. So you can't decoy Johnny or Operator now either. New card category, Permadeath. Cards that have Permadeath tag will land in the graveyard but cannot be resurrected. Some, but not all cards will have the tag, like Siegfrieda and Shani, so you won't be able to res Siegfrieda or Shani. Even with, well, some cards will be able to do it, like Restoration, I believe, will be able to resurrect something with Permadeath. So that's a really significant change. Again, stuff that they don't want overly done, you know. They also, some systems that are coming to the game later do, like including a level up system, rank system, and leaderboards. So I think we can go ahead and switch to the full thing now. You can take a look at, also showed some systems that are coming to the game. There's a picture of the level up screen. This is a picture of the rank play, and it's going to be an unlock that you can get. So let's click on that. So yeah, you'll get experience based on certain things and how you performed in the match, which is great. This is something that they currently don't have right now. If you lose a match and they don't GG you, you don't get anything. So it says match started, so you'll get some XP no matter what when you start a match. If somebody gives you a good game, you get bonus XP, and matches won will give you a bonus XP, which is awesome. They also talked a little bit about reward systems that allow you to get kegs, as well as just ore or whatever. So I don't know how they're going to implement that, but that's pretty interesting. The ranked play unlocked. You'll have a new mode, ranked play. Access it from the main menu, and you have the leaderboards that's going to come up here. So this is the point system that's basically going to allow you to when you level up and when you score well, you're going to get rewards based on attaining different ranks and stuff. And you'll have friend leaderboards, global leaderboards, and European, and I guess US, that's divided among that. All right, the new cards, guys, the new cards. Geralt Aard is choose a row on the opposite side and move all units one row upwards. Also deal 1 damage to each moved unit. So this is like the Drowners did, except that when you use this ability, it's going to move all the units on a row and do damage. So it's going to push them specifically. So I don't know if it works on the siege row or I don't know how it works, if it moves from siege to ranged, from ranged to melee, and then from melee back to siege, or the opposite way, or if the last rows are even affected once they're already on the row, except they do damage. I don't know how it's gonna group, but that's a sick card, man, and it's 8 strength. Geralt, it's an 8 strength gold. So Kayran is going to absorb, so it's going to devour 3 non-gold units and absorb their strength. It doesn't say whether it's on your side, so I believe it's going to be like, I want that, that, and that. It can be on the opposing side too. I'm not really sure. It doesn't say opposing side, but it also doesn't say on your side, so that might be awesome, man. The artwork on it is crazy too. This was from The Witcher 2, I believe. One of the monsters in The Witcher 2. Coral, I guess is how you say it. Coral. Play on any row and move all cards to her row. So you'll be able to, this is loyal or disloyal, and you'll be able to group. She's a 7 power card too, so if you want to group for things like Commander's Horn on your side, or you want to group on their side for something like Lacerate or Weather, this is going to be really cool to use. And she's a 7 power gold as well. Alright, Dimeritium Shackle. This card is amazing. This is going to change the way everybody plays Gwent. Dimeritium Shackle, choose a card on the battlefield and remove all buffs and effects from it. Y'all, it's bronze. It is a bronze card. It's neutral. You could use it in any faction. So that means if you see a buffed unit and you want to kill the buff, boom, it's done. If you want to take away its gold status, boom, it's done. If you want to take away its debuff because somebody used weather on it, boom, it's done. You'll be able to summon them with Elven Mercenaries. You'll be able to res them with Aegleus or double them with natural, nature's gift. Can't even take. This is strong. It's gonna change the way Gwent is played, man. Schirru, ambush card, is triggered whenever a special card is played and changes it to a Scorch instead. Wow. So just imagine they bring out their Hawker support, you know, or whatever the case may be, or they bring out their Redenian Knight, or they bring out whatever, and they are about to use a card to buff it, and you play this ambush card before. They're going to use it, and it's going to end up a Scorch. Now, you already know if you have something powerful on your side, Scorch don't care. Scorch will kill the highest non-gold unit on the board, whether it's yours or theirs. So this is going to be a really interesting ambush card. Right now, ambush cards aren't super dangerous, and they're very predictable. This is going to change a lot about what's going on when people see Scoia'tael. So that is the conclusion of the video, guys. I know it's really long, but I wanted to just tell you how excited I am about it and hype right now. I was saving up, you can see on my board here, let me clear my display. You can see on my board here that I was saving up scraps. I have 755 scraps. I want another legendary so bad. I don't know if I'm not gonna wait a little bit. I might not. I don't know when the patch is released. They didn't say specifically, because I don't know what I want anymore. I don't know what I want anymore. What I did want was Operator. I'm not getting Operator because it's changed. It's too volatile at the moment. So I imagine they might do some sort of. They didn't say that they would do any sort of scrap refunds like they did with the other patch. So I imagine that's not planned for this one. But all in all, it's going to be amazing. So if you dig in the Gwent content, by the way, I've been streaming Gwent almost every evening for at least an hour and a half. Most of the time 2 or 3 hours to tell you the truth, and just hanging out and chilling. If you're interested in seeing a lot of Gwent content, I've also been posting videos almost daily for Gwent and stuff, and I'm going to try to keep up with Gwent really hard. I'm going to try to do some competitive play, as well as tournaments, and do a lot of card collecting and a lot of streaming for it. So it's going to be something that's going to stick around the channel for a long time. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too. That's going to be it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, give me some tap on that like button to show you support, and you can subscribe to the channel for more daily videos. You can check the links below for my Twitch channel, for my YouTube channel, and all my social media. And once again, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Uljan signing off, and we'll see you next time.